Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another ear-popping episode of the Media Boat Podcast, your weekly episodes where we talk about movies, TV, music, and video games, not necessarily in that order. My name is Mike. His name is Matt.
My name is Matt. His name is Mike. Thank you for joining us on the Media Boat Podcast. Today is July the 23rd, 2024. We're relaxed. Our shirts are relaxed. It is time to podcast. And boy, howdy, a lot of news in the world lately, but not so much in media. We'll get to that, but kind of a slow news week. But in the meantime, let's get started at the very, very tip top.
Yep, we start with the music section. Start the music section with the Billboard. Start the
Mhm.
Billboard with the Hot 100. And the
Yes.
hottest song in the land, still number one song, a bar song, Tipsy by Shabuzi.
To be fair, it's not still because it was briefly dethroned last week by Not Like Us again, and then it's moved back to number one.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking. Because at number two is I
Hmm.
Had Some Help by Post Malone featuring Morgan Wallen. And then at three, there is Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar. Coming at four is Million Dollar Baby by Tommy Richmond. And rounding out your top five, Sabrina Carpenter. So, yeah, just a couple of swaps there for number one and number three. Otherwise, your top five hasn't changed. These are
Yep.
your songs of the summer.
I guess so.
But let's get into some actual news as we get to the Billboard 200, your albums chart. And at number one, we have the tortured Taylor Swift department, as she
Nope.
does not make it a number one. Again, thus falling just
No.
short of the record.
Correct.
Instead, the album we talked about last week, The Death of Slim Shady, Coup de Grace, by Eminem, is indeed the number one album this week. Congratulations, Eminem, on yet another number one album.
I guess. If we must congratulate him for it.
Yes, this calls for celebratory, uh, I don't know, spaghetti.
Spaghetti sounds good, actually. I could go for some spaghetti.
Coming at two is Romance, Untold by In Hyphen. In Hyphen?
In
Any?
hyphen, I think.
Yeah,
It
but
could
the
be in
H is
hyphen.
wired.
I don't know.
All right. At number three, The Great American Bar Scene by Zach Bryan. Yes, that's Zach Bryan. Coming at four is the aforementioned Tortured Poets Department by
Mhm.
Taylor Swift, dropping three spots this week. Ooh.
Yep.
And then rounding out your top five, One Thing at a Time by Morgan Wallen.
Well, then.
Just struggling to get that out of my mouth. If you don't like any of those albums, we have new releases, starting with Red Mile by Crack Cloud, To the Ghosts by Cults, Y2K by Ice Spice,
Yeah.
Smile! Exclamation point! Colon, capital D
The
by Porter Robinson.
name I haven't heard in a long time.
And lastly, in new releases this week, GOD's Network, parentheses, Reb 7 Earth by Rakim. And don't tell me that's Rebirth because that I should be a 1 then, not a 7.
You would
Because
think.
otherwise 7 is the L. So this is Reb Earth.
Yeah, really taking an L.
Yes, take that L. Let's get into some music news.
Yeah.
And we go over to Miami Federal Court, where Sean Kingston, yes, that Sean Kingston,
Yeah.
and his mother were indicted in Miami Federal Court Friday in connection with a $1 million wire fraud scheme. If convicted, both face up to 20 years in prison for each of the six counts charged to them. The, oh God, he's at her age, 34-year-old
Yep.
singer, born Keshawn Anderson, appeared in court with his 61-year-old mom, Janice Turner, after their arrest in May. Today, they were charged with one
Friday.
count of, as of Friday, they were charged with one count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and 5 counts of wire fraud charges from their involvement in a scheme to defraud victim sellers of high-end specialty vehicles, jewelry, and other goods purchased via fraudulent documents. The United States Attorney's Office of the Southern District of Florida stated that the defendants, quote, unjustly enriched themselves by falsely representing that they had executed. I keep wanting to say executors, but no Pokemon here.
Executor.
Yes, executed bank wire or other monetary payment transfers, close quote. According to the office, the alleged scheme involved making payments through banks that never actually went through, resulting in them accruing in excess of $1 million in property, which is where the $1 million lawsuit comes from.
Yes, so this has been rumbling in the background for the last few months here. I've been seeing headlines on and off about Sean Kingston and his mother running this scheme. But this finally got to a point where I'm like, all right, I think this is substantial enough of a story now that we can actually talk about it. Like you mentioned, they have not been convicted yet. So there has yet to be a final decision made. However, it's looking pretty bad for Sean Kingston. I wonder if he's well, no, I'm not gonna make that joke.
I
He's
wish I
not gonna get
listened to
bailed.
him when he said he could take you there.
See, I was gonna. I mean, yeah, honestly, that song in retrospect seems kind of weird. Now I was gonna say no beautiful girls are going to bail him out this time. That's why it'll never work. Um,
I'm not saying the next song, the next line there.
yeah, that's the first joke I considered making. I was like, no, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna make that joke.
Well, because that's when you say it's
Anyway,
over.
yeah, that's
There we
now
go.
you
We
know
got
it's
through it.
over. There you go. So yeah, we might not see Sean Kingston for a very, very long time. Not that we were really seeing him before this that much. Yeah, he kind of disappeared, but I guess now we know what he was up to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Having a fun time with his mom.
I guess so. Yes, I'm
Not
glad
that
they get
fun
along.
time.
What? Anyway, moving on.
Moving on. Did you listen to anything?
You know what? No, it was kind of a slow week. No big release that I can think of, except for the Childish Gambino thing, which I did not listen to. So
I wanted to listen to it, but then I
yeah,
realized the movie was not coming out this week like I thought it was.
I see. Okay, so you're gonna wait.
And then I looked around and see like, wait, when is this coming out? Apparently there is no release date. It just says coming soon.
So the album's out, but the movie's not.
Yes, which is weird marketing gimmick.
Just listen to it then. I don't know. Why wait?
Oh no, I did. I started to,
I
but that
started
first
to.
I started to because that first song on the track is this really hard electro EDM sounding music, very industrial heavy. I was like, okay,
Okay.
where are you going with this? And then the
Yeah.
next song, it's not Lithuania, Listia, Listoria, Lithomania.
No, that's
No, that's a
me.
different song.
Yeah, that's Phoenix.
Yeah. Um, was actually catchy. I kind of liked it. So I liked where it was going from there. But there's also these little interstitials like at the beginning in any song, which kind of hint of like lines from the movie. But also because you don't have the movie, you're left wondering, what is this for? How does this connect? What's the purpose here? Because you only give a brief synopsis from the first trailer, but then nothing after that. So it's weird to have it split up like this. Maybe we'll see the movie drop in a couple days, maybe weeks,
Maybe?
hopefully. Give some more context to it. But yeah, I only got about 4 songs into it, which was uh just fine for me. Nothing to like say go out and listen to this. Like it's good without the movie. I think it needs it. I think it needs it as a companion piece.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, then, in that
Anyway,
case, we can move on into video games, where we start
yes.
with new releases, including our Ranger, a role puzzling adventure
Hmm.
for the PC, PS5, and the Switch. Earth Defense Force number 6
Hmm.
for the PC, PS4, and PS5. The Sims 4, Love Struck for the PC. Still cranking out DLC for that game, I see.
Yep. Another expansion.
We also have Conscript for everything. Wide release. You got it. You can play it. Uh, Exophobia for everything. Wide release. You got it. You can play it. Also, F1 Manager 2024 for everything except the Switch. That's that Formula One racing.
Yes.
Although you may or may not actually be racing if new reports are to believed.
Well, yeah, manager in the name, yeah, makes you think that it's actually not about the racing at all.
No, I'm talking about like actual F1 racing. There's
Oh,
could be a possible scandal
uh-oh.
happening about the racers and like how the winners are decided beforehand.
I see. Well, if you play F1 Manager, you can reverse that tide.
Yes, you
Yeah.
are the one creating the narrative.
Good luck.
And there's also the star named EOS for the PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, and the Switch. And lastly, the operator for the PC.
Mm.
Or might be the operator. But this one apparently is not smooth. All right, let's get into some video game news.
Yeah.
And hey, it's the FTC versus Xbox. Again.
Yeah, we already do this.
Yeah, I thought they were already standing before the FTC saying we won't do certain things before
Well,
the Activision Blizzard deal went through.
well, it's gone through, and since then, I guess they've been keeping a watchful eye on what they've been doing over at the Xbox headquarters, and it looks like Lena Khan and crew have something to say after the developments of the last couple of weeks.
Yes, because the Federal Trade Commission, the U.S. Federal Trade Commission,
Yeah,
has
duh.
called, oh, for internationals, has has called Microsoft's recently announced Game Pass price rises, quote, exactly the sort of consumer harm it tried to stop by fighting the company's acquisition of Activision Blizzard.
Hmm.
Following a court victory for Microsoft last year, which the FTC is currently appealing, the corporation completed its $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard King in October 2023. The agency, the FTC, is continuing to submit evidence while its appeal is considered, and in a new filing on Thursday, it highlighted Microsoft's new Game Pass tiers, which include a price increase for Ultimate and a new standard tier that does not include day one releases. Microsoft has responded to the FTC, stating that it's wrong to call its Game Pass offering degraded, since the standard tier is allegedly, I'm sorry, since the standard tier is allegedly replacing the Game Pass for console offering, which did not include online multiplayer. Quote, while Game Pass Ultimate's price will increase from $6.99 or $16.99 to $19.99 a month, the service will offer more value through many new games available day and date. Among them is the upcoming release of Call of Duty, which has never before been available on a subscription day and date. End quote.
So, it's easy to see how the FTC might think this. this is one of the things that they did say and stress during these cases, which was like, hey, but if they do this and immediately raise the price on consumers, then like, isn't this exactly what they said they weren't going to do? Like, isn't this? And that's exactly what they did do. Now, Microsoft could have said, yeah, we were planning to do this regardless of whether or not the purchase of Activision went through or not. That may be true, but they chose not to say that. Maybe not a great move here because it does look like a little bit of, well, we're doing this because we can, ostensibly, which is exactly what the FTC said that they were going to do. So, a couple of notes about the Call of Duty thing. So yeah, they've been said over and over and over again that we're getting the new Call of Duty by the end of the year on Game Pass day one. That's a November release. We knew that already. However, another news story that came out this week alongside this, and maybe, well, to be fair, it leaked, but maybe they decided to confirm the leak to kind of assuage some of these concerns. The most recent Call of Duty release, Modern Warfare 3, actually, I guess is this, yeah, no, that is the most recent because
Yes.
this one's going to be Black Ops, is coming to Game Pass tomorrow. So they're trying to incentivize people to be like, oh, look, but we have a Call of Duty right now. That's how much of a value this is. Look at this. You don't have to wait at all. So, but still, I don't know if this looks great. I think it is like confusing, as we talked about last week. And I do think that on face, it does devalue the prospect of Game Pass. And I think the FCC has a case. I mean, there's not really much they can do about it, except they could potentially sue. I doubt that that's going to happen since they just got done with litigation with these guys. And also, we are months away from a presidential election, so they may wait. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It's a weird one.
I mean, it is weird, but also on its face value, they were offering day and date to all Game Pass
No,
value.
they're
Or
not
sorry,
anymore though.
not just
Right.
ultimate value.
And now they're not.
Yes.
It is just Ultimate that gets that. And so yeah, you do have to wonder, well, that means that like a vast majority probably of people who subscribe to this are not getting the thing that this thing was months ago.
Mm-hmm. And then one
Yeah.
thing that changed was the $69 billion acquisition.
Yeah. I mean, they'd be, of course, they would make the argument, oh, no, I mean, we need to increase prices every once in a while due to costs. Or they'd make the argument that, oh, prices have gone up in every industry, which is true. Unfortunately, I don't know. They could have, but again, they chose not to. So it really makes you wonder, like, what their defense is internally as opposed to what they've said here in their statement. Not great.
No, that's especially since you're offering less for the
Yeah.
same money. Well, you're increasing it and offering less. So,
And offering less. Yep.
yep.
Not
All
great.
right. Did you play anything?
No, not really. It's more Zenless Zone Zero, of
Cool. Been playing more college football,
course.
and I realized I've been playing it wrong.
Oh,
Yes. So in my Road to Glory, which I've been streaming on
yes.
twitch.tv/mediaboat,
Ah,
I've been doing Road to Glory as someone awesome halfback. And I'm going into my third year, and I'm wondering, I started as an 81. Why am I an 80? I go 100 yards every game. Occasionally they let me score a touchdown, and I got straight A's in all my classes.
yeah.
How is it that I'm not doing better? Well, it turns out because I've been going to class and like dominating on the actual football field, the only place I haven't been dominating is practices. Because even though I
Um,
do the coaches practice to increase my um coach confidence in me, I haven't been doing extra practices to increase my stats or to get the abilities to increase my stats. I only figured that out when they relegated me to a third string tier. I was like, okay, well, if you're gonna put me down here, I'm just not gonna pay attention to school anymore. I'm just gonna focus all on football to get me back there. And that's when I realized, like, oh, I need to find a balance between all of this. Oh my God, light bulb. So instead of restarting my character, I did the ultimate team for a little bit, which I like. It's fun. I still like old classic players in there for the ultimate roster on my team. Joe Burrow's my quarterback. All hail the Tiger King. But one thing that I forgot that Madden does, and it's in here as well, is that when you do any of the challenges, it's the roster that you've built and not like the pre-made roster. So kind of messed up with that too. Just fumbling all over this game.
Dang.
But hey, at least keeping me busy, it's keeping me fun. Not like totally kicking my ass where I want to quit it. So that's a good thing. Yeah,
That's good.
having more fun
That's
with
good.
it and gonna be streaming it more.
So you still haven't played any of the other modes yet?
Like I said, I did the Ultimate Team. I have not done Dynasty, but I've been watching some videos about setting up dynasties and what you should do.
Okay. All right. Well, fun. Yeah, that thing's everywhere. Everybody just can't shut up about that. However, everybody keeps calling it NCAA, which is driving me nuts. I'm like, look at the
Yes.
cover of the game. That's not what it's called. Anyway. All right. Well, is that it for video games? Anything else?
Yeah, that's all I've been playing. Yeah, I've been playing Zenless Zero on my phone too.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Oh.
Yeah,
Well, in that case, why don't you move us on over to the sports corner?
let's go on into sports, and we start with it's here.
Yes.
Get your American flags out because the Olympics will be here before you know it this week.
Yes.
They're all
Friday.
flying, all the athletes are flying in. They're getting settled into Paris. They're getting accustomed to Paris time, and they're still trying to clean out the Seine River.
Yes.
And we have news on who will be carrying the Olympic flag during the opening ceremonies.
We sure do.
None other than the little man from Ohio going all the way to Paris just to carry a flag and a team
Ah,
and a nation.
eh.
And to be fair, he's got the wingspan to do it. Talking about none other than LeBron James.
You have to say his name like that. It's required.
Well, yes. LeBron James will be the male participant to carry the U.S.
Yes.
flag during the opening ceremonies. He'll be officially the third the third basketball participant to be carrying the flag during the opening ceremonies. The last time it was done was Sue Bird in the 2021
Yep.
Olympics for Tokyo.
Yeah.
And I am frantically trying to find who the female participant is because they said it'd be released today, and yet the only thing I could find is LeBron. Like, get out of here! I know that, but who's the female version that's going to be carrying it?
Well, I mean, it's 5 p.m. There's still time for them to make that announcement. Give them time.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to every this is like every previous basketball flag player where like okay, NBC, do you have it? Who's buried the flag? Snoop Dogg. Wait, no. Oh, Snoop Dogg has been announced as an Olympic torch bearer, carrying the flame on its final leg around the Parisian suburb of Saint Denis.
Mm.
So Snoop Dogg is now an Olympic athlete.
No, that
Carry the
doesn't count.
torch.
Doesn't count.
There's speculation that Celine Dion and or Lady Gaga will perform at the opening ceremonies. And let me see
Your your internet searching is crudding up your memory on your laptop, just letting you
here.
know.
Yeah. And yeah,
Anyway.
I can't find it. Anyways,
And anyways, we'll talk about it next week because we will have seen the Olympic opening ceremonies by the time we podcast next.
yes, because the opening ceremonies start on July 26th. which is 3 days from now,
Yep.
from this recording.
Correct. So yes, next week we'll talk about the opening ceremonies. We'll talk about the Olympics, the first few days, and we'll get into it. So yeah, that's exciting stuff coming down the pipe here.
Yep. Peacock's gonna get a lot of viewers from us.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
Let's then go over into the NBA real quick as we do a little stop in where we were talked about how the rights to NBA streaming and NBA league made deals with everyone, including Amazon Prime.
Mhm.
Well, Warner Brothers had 10 days to match any of the offers, and at the 10th day mark, that Warner Brothers Discovery informed the league that it will match the $1.8 billion per year offer by Amazon Prime Video, thus snatching it
Yes.
away from the clause of streaming. But it does
Yes.
mean Inside the NBA will continue on TNT. And this is going back on everything that David Zaslav said at the end
Yeah.
of the NBA season last month.
Well, here's the thing. To be fair, it's not them snatching it away. It is just them matching it. Neither suitor then has won the rights. Basically, what happens now is that they basically stare each other down until one budges and makes a better deal. That is ultimately what's happening here. I think Amazon can afford to outdo them, and I think that they still grab it unless Amazon gives up and then just lets them continue having the rights. There could be some sort of deal struck maybe between the two from the league, but I think that's the league's call at that point, whether or not they want to kind of chop up this money or just take one of the suitors' money wholesale. There's a lot of ways this could go. So actually, I would say we still don't know what the home of the NBA is going to look like, what the rights are going to look like. This just confirms that Warner is staying in the game, that they're not waving the white flag yet.
Oh no, they're gonna try and hold on to it.
Yeah.
Like otherwise they would just let it go. But no, they wanted to. I believe Amazon was the lowest offer of the three. So they're like, okay, we'll match the lowest offer, and then they'll just keep matching the lowest offer. But yeah,
Yeah.
you are
Yeah.
right in that Amazon, the infinite well that it is.
It does make me wonder what the catalyst for this change of heart was. Do you think it was Zaslav seeing the reaction that a lot of NBA fans had on the internet to it about like, oh, we love Inside the NBA, we're gonna miss it. Oh, we all love all this. It's an institution, stuff like that. And he was like, hey, people seem to care about this. Should we try?
I think he just went golfing with Charles Barkley and they figured it out.
Yeah, maybe.
All
Anyway,
right. Anyways, lastly, in sports news, the MLB went to Cooperstown and had some enshrinements happening this
yes,
past weekend, including Texas Ranger great Adrian Beltre, alongside Twins catcher Joe Mauer, and Rockies first baseman Todd Helton. That puts the Hall's membership at 273 players among those who have entered and played the game.
yeah.
Yeah, there's also one manager
Mhm.
enshrined as well, making four for this year's ceremony.
Yep. And
Looking ahead to next year's voting, there's one name on everyone's mind that they're kind of hoping gets the second ever unanimous vote. Ichiro
yes.
Suzuki.
Oh,
He's
absolutely. That's an easy one.
first time on the ballot for next year. And you can say he's a Hall of Famer, sure, but there's one big glaring issue going against him. He don't got the ring. And I will bet you one sports right there will be like, well, how good is he if he didn't win a ring?
I hate that argument because obviously that's not how baseball works, but whatever. Anyway, just to rewind a little bit, I want to talk about one, congratulations to the inductees. And then also, I don't know if you saw some of the speeches, but they were very heartfelt. And very manly man tears were shed vibes from that thing. I saw some clips. And I was like, oh boy, wow, okay. Is it are there onions getting chopped in here? Because it's beautiful. But yeah,
You sure you weren't just watching the ESPYs?
no, I did not watch the ESPYs. Anyway, yeah, so congratulations to the inductees. But yeah, you're probably right. I do think that's the one thing going against Ichiro, but I'm hoping they see over that. Because yeah,
To be
he
fair,
deserves it.
if Derek Jeter didn't get a unanimous vote,
That's true. That
it's
it makes it
hard to
tough.
say that even Babe Ruth didn't get a unanimous vote.
Well, yeah, that was a long ass time ago.
Well, yeah, but I was going to say Mariano Rivera is the only player ever of
Hmm.
273 players inducted to get a unanimous vote.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about unanimous, but he'll definitely be inducted, and that's what matters, isn't it?
Yep.
Anyways.
Anyways, that's it for sports news. So let's get into some actual television news. And there's only one thing on everyone's mind.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes, chef. Come on. Yes, chef. Yes, chef was on everyone's mind because the Emmy noms came out.
It's
And
true.
here we
Oh,
go.
oh, sorry. I didn't realize you were tossing it to me. The handoff between the sports thing is weird now because I don't do the sports part anymore.
Yes.
Sorry. Anyway,
Yes, chef.
yes, chef. Yeah, the biggest news in television this week was the Emmy nominations. FM. I think you mean FX.
Yes, I did.
FM network I've never heard of.
Okay, you're right.
Um,
Disney. I should say Disney here.
no, it's FX. FX landed 93 nominations by themselves this year for the Emmys, second only to Netflix with 107 nominations. Leading the nominations charge was FX's Shogun, which scored a stunning 25 nominations, including drama series, and scored first-time acting nominations for stars Hiroyuki Sanada and Anna Sawai. It will compete against The Crown, Fallout for some reason, The Gilded Age, The Morning Show, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Slow Horses, and The Three Body Problem in the drama series category. The second season of The Bear, which aired back in June 2023, led the tally for comedy series with 23 nominations, including Outstanding Comedy Series. It now has the record for comedy nominations, surpassing the 22 nominations 30 Rock had back in 2009. The all-time series record of 32 nominations, regardless of genre, held by HBO's Game of Thrones since 2016, however, remains firmly in place. In the comedy series category, The Bear will compete against Abbott Elementary, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Hacks, Only Murders in the Building, Palm Royale, and Reservation Dogs, and What We Do in the Shadows. Limited series race will be between Baby Reindeer, Fargo, Lessons in Chemistry, Ripley, and True Detective Night Country. The Emmy Awards will air on ABC on Sunday, September 15th. And for all of you thinking, wait, didn't we already have an Emmys this year? We did in January, and they were for last year.
Yes, because they're delayed because of the writer's strike.
Yes, just as a reminder. Any other, besides the ones we mentioned, any other nominations stuck out for you?
The one thing that stuck out to me was the rather lack of HBO nominations,
Yeah,
but that's kind of to come since Succession's finale garnered for last year. Um, Game of Thrones skipped a year,
right.
and The Last of Us was also for last year,
Right.
and White Lotus skipped a year as well.
Mhm.
So yeah, just the lack of HBO shows here in both the. I mean, the only one in they have here is in the
It's Hacks.
comedy
Yeah,
Hacks. Yeah.
right. I mean, yeah, it was just
Oh,
they
and
caught
True
the
Detective Night Country.
right. Yeah, they caught HBO kind of in between things. I mean, True Detective was their big drama this year, and I guess it's here. It's just not as strongly represented as the FX stuff is. So yeah, just goes to show you some years they're strong, some years they're not. It's not like it used to be where HBO's prestige stuff win every single time. Um, Other than that, anything else stand out?
I mean, just the FX domination stands out. Like,
Yeah.
when did that happen?
I think it's been building up slowly over time. Right now, it's just that they had a 1-2 punch with the Bear and Shogun. I mean, it's all that anybody could talk about earlier this year. It just like goes to show you that they've been able to gather the strength and the producing talent and just to show up every single time. I mean, they've already been a perennial favorite for the limited series category. It's just now that they're finally kind of budging their way into the other two main categories as well.
Yeah, and get to see Reservation Dogs and What We Do in the Shadows here
Yeah. Nice.
get their due as well.
Yep.
But all right, so pick your winners.
I mean, the Bear is obviously going to repeat. Season 2 is even stronger than
Yeah.
season 1. It's a no-brainer that will win. It will also sweep all of the acting categories in which it is nominated, including the guest acting categories. I want a special shout out to, of course, Jamie Lee Curtis will definitely win in that guest category. And I think Bob Odenkirk will hilariously win an Emmy finally after years of being snubbed and not winning for Better Call Saul. It will be very
Really?
funny.
Over John Barenthal
I think so.
for the same episode?
Yes, I think so for the same episode. Um, yeah, I think and yeah, I think Shogun has a pretty strong chance. It was, like I said, the only thing people could talk about. It has a lot of momentum going into this show, as well as the number of nominations, giving it a little extra push. If they pick The Crown instead, I think it'll be very disappointing, and I think a lot of people will cry foul. Other than that, yeah, I don't know. It's like I think it'll be a pretty predictable year, unfortunately. I think a lot of the it'll just be dominated by those two shows.
I think so. I think Mr. and Mrs. Smith, depending on how well it runs its campaign, especially with Don Glover kind of being on the
Yeah,
trail with his album and movie coming out, could help bolster that for a season,
maybe.
for awards. I know Apple is doing a strong push with the morning show because it's the only one they got money behind. Well,
Mhm.
that and hopefully they do this. Lessons in Chemistry. Really
Yeah.
loved it. Hopefully that gets the win in limited series.
Well, only a matter of time to find out, just about a couple of months away. So we will see.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's it for television news. Have any thoughts this week?
Just manly man tears on the SBs.
SPs, anything you want to shout out from the SPs? Anything of note?
Serena Williams. Good
Yeah,
job hosting.
good job
Loved it.
hosting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Kept things go. Kept those, get this moving. Got good writers for the monologue. Definitely about poking real good fun at Harrison Bucker for his comments.
Good thing, because he deserves it.
Yes.
All right. Let's move on then into some cancellations and renewals.
What am I no longer watching?
You're no longer watching Halo. Sorry, Xbox. The television series based on Halo has been canceled after 2 seasons on Paramount Plus. We will no longer know what will happen to Master Chief in the television world.
Well, that's what happens when you take off your helmet.
I guess so, yeah. Next up, you will no longer be watching American Rust on Prime Video, as that has been canceled after 2 seasons. You will, however, be watching more of Caught in the Act, Unfaithful, which will get a 3rd season on MTV.
Oh, that's just cheaters rebranded.
Yeah, pretty much. Last but not least, here in television, we do have some deaths to talk about. First off, we start with a television legend, a man who, not single-handedly, but definitely had a hand in changing the television sitcom for the better. Mr. Bob Newhart, age 94, has passed. Actor, of course, famous in the newer generations for the movie Elf, but also for classics like Newhart and Bob Newhart Show. Won an Emmy back in 2013 and a Grammy for a stand-up recording back in 1961. A comedy legend with a dry style that nobody can replicate. He started as an accountant, which gives you kind of the idea of where that comes from. And yeah, I guess he left an indelible mark on comedy. It's like whenever you see that kind of delivery, it all goes back to Bob Newhart. Definitely will be missed. But man, what a long, fruitful life. And it was just game to show up for anything. I read an article that pointed out that a lot of younger people know him most for the recurring character he played on Big Bang Theory, where he was like a children's television like performer, where he did like a education show or something. I didn't watch Big Bang Theory, I can't tell you, but I was like, that just goes to show you how like how willing Bob Newhart was, just to be like, yeah, I'll do this bit. So
Yeah, he was a Bill Nye the Science Guy knockoff.
yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah. Anyway, we also this week lost Lou Dobbs, age 78. You could call him an entertainer, but
He's on a channel that does entertainment. That's classified as
yes,
entertainment.
yes, a political pundit, you could call him. Of course, host of Lou Dobbs Tonight, a hand in the success of Fox News. Was a major figure in the like behind the scenes for how Fox News came to dominate news on cable television. And also, yeah, I guess he had a podcast. But yeah, age 78 for Lou Dobbs. And then lastly, Duke Fakir, age 88, was a Hall of Fame singer and a member of the Four Tops.
Yep.
So,
One of the original Motown bands.
yes, exactly. So we're losing the original era generation of Motown singers. It's kind of sad. All right, let's move on to the final section of the show, which is movies. And we always start the movie section with the weekend box office numbers. And coming in like a tornado, Twisters is your number one movie this week with $80 million in its debut. So congratulations to Twisters. I want to see that. Seems good.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
A- cinema score. So
yeah, not bad. People like it.
getting good feedback from it.
I think people miss that kind of like middle tier action movie. I think people really like, oh, this movie is just going to come in and it's just going to be action for 90 minutes and we're going to get out and be like, holy shit. Yeah, it's back. Let's do it.
Not
Let's do
like
more of these.
overly heavily reliant on CGI disaster movies like we've
Right.
seen in the late aughts.
Yeah, you don't really need that anymore. You can just kind of knock one out of the park like this.
Mhm.
Although I understand that there was a kissing scene that was cut. Come on,
Yes.
who's out there cutting kissing scenes? Spielberg. Anyways, let's move on. Number two, Despicable Me 4, hanging in there with another $23.8 million. That's at 260 million domestic already. Pretty good for Despicable Me. Number three, Inside Out 2, still making money, $12 million this week. That's at 596. It will get to the 600 million domestic mark next
I
week.
think as of this recording, it hit those
It already
extra 4
has.
million, and it has hit
Damn.
600 million domestic.
It just keeps going. It just keeps making money. Number four, Long Legs with $11 million this week. That's at 44 million domestic. Not bad for kind of a small film like that. And then
Yep.
number five, A Quiet Place Day One with another $6 million. That's at 127 and doing okay, but maybe slowing its roll a little bit
It's petering
faster than,
out. Yeah.
yeah, than they probably want it to.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
it's, I mean, that one's been here all summer long, so people are seeing it.
That's true. That's true. But everything get out of the way because your one big release this week, as you mentioned earlier, is Deadpool and Wolverine. That is your big release on Friday. Box Office Watch right now has numbers that are edging pretty high, and some people even saying, will this beat the R-rated movie record for opening weekend? What do you think?
Uh, I would say yes,
Yeah.
but it is the Olympics this weekend.
Oh, the Olympics are not stopping people from going to see a movie. That I
No.
don't. I think you overestimate the popularity of the Olympics in 2024.
Yes, well, because this is a Marvel film. It's the only Marvel film we're getting this year,
Mhm.
and it's the only Hugh Jackman movie we're getting
Yeah,
this year.
but also, and I think most importantly, it is a nostalgia play for millennials who miss the X-Men movies, the Fox X-Men movies from 20 years ago. And I think it is very clearly supposed to be a capstone on that era, kind of wrap up that era of films and merge it sort of with the modern Marvel stuff. Not that it is. I understand that there's like timeline trickery happening here, which explains what's happening. But
Yes,
besides
watch
that,
Loki.
right,
Watch Loki
exactly.
before you watch this.
But the important thing is yes, is like on the tin, it's like, hey, remember when Hugh Jackman was Wolverine? Well, he's Wolverine again. Isn't that fun? And Deadpool's here. Go see it.
Yeah,
So
Remember when we called him huge jacked man for like 15 years?
Some people still call him that.
Yes. In some circles, he's still referred to as huge jacked
Huge
man.
jacked man. Anyway, so yeah, Deadpool Wolverine, your big new release this week.
I do have tickets to see it,
So
so
you
I'll
will
be
be talking
reporting on
about it.
it next week.
All right, next week. All right, let's move on to our big movie story this week. Kind of a slow week, as we alluded to at the top of the show. But this is an interesting move from one of the biggest movie players in streaming. After spending more than $20 billion to produce original TV shows and movies that, let's be honest, not a lot of people watch, Apple is starting to refine its strategy in Hollywood. The studio spent more than $500 million combined on movies from directors Martin Scorsese, Ridley Scott, and Matthew Vaughn, and upward of $250 million on the World War II miniseries Masters of the Air, one of more than a dozen new series that they released on Apple TV Plus last year, or this year. Apple has declined to buy some of the shows that sellers say the company would have accepted just a few years ago, and like most peers, is ordering fewer projects straight to series. The Apple Studio won Best Picture at the Oscars back in 2022 from Coda, a movie acquired at the Sundance Film Festival. Apple has told some of their creative partners, though, that they want to change their reputation as the biggest spender in town. So yeah, all signs point to Apple slowing spending, making less bets on original programming. I think that if you see slower trickle from Apple TV Plus in the next couple of years, this is why they're going to start playing it conservatively.
We have seen this where they axed the after party after 2 seasons. They have already told the cast and producers of Severance of what they want to happen or what they should expect in the next season. I mean, they do want to order more. It feels like they have spent all their money building up IP, and now they're going to try and, what every studio does, milk it dry for the next 5-6 years.
Yeah, so can't imagine a whole lot of original things. It does make me wonder what happens with like their prestige films. It's looked like they were kind of all in on Oscar season for the last few years. You saw that with Killers of the Flower Moon. I don't know if that's going to continue. I think that maybe is the one place where they, in my opinion, should continue spending the money, because I think that they have been surprisingly successful with it. So, just saying.
Yeah, but how much of the 0 Oscars that Killers of the Flower Moon won do you think hurts them in wanting to
Yeah.
greenlight more stuff?
I hope that that's not part of this decision-making process, is that they went to Marty and said, hey, you failed us.
How bad was it that Emma Stone won the Oscar over Lily Gladstone,
Yeah,
that
let's not
Apple
talk about
TV just threw in the
it.
towel and said, you know what? We can't win,
Jeez.
even though they won with Coda.
Yeah, I know. And it just makes me wonder, like, whether, yeah, that has the luster of that Oscar has worn off in the ensuing 2 years since. I don't know. No one knows but Apple. I'm wondering what Tim Cook is thinking over there, but I guess we'll find out shortly what they
We
plan.
can't read his eyes. Who's wearing those
Yeah.
Vision Pro
We're the
goggles?
Vision Pro. You can't see.
Yep, can't see this.
Anyway. All right. That'll do it for movie news. And we have no movie thoughts, I think. So this will
No, this is
be
under an hour podcast. What are we doing?
record podcast. Just goes to show you, when we don't have thoughts, we go really fast.
Oh, I know. Yeah, we had 0 thoughts. Even when I tried to give brief thoughts on the Childish
Yeah,
Gambino record,
nothing
just
to say.
nothing to say. Just kept
It was
going.
a slow week, not much going on. However, thankfully, as we mentioned, there are several things we'll talk about next week. We'll go long, I'm sure, about the Olympics. We'll go into Deadpool versus Wolverine. We'll talk about, or not versus, I guess it's just huh?
Yep.
But yeah, we'll have plenty to talk about next time. But in the meantime, hey, let this be your note to enjoy your week. Relax, just like our shirts and us. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
Yep, you catch us in all your
Yes.
podcasting feeds, Spotify, Google Play, which I believe is going away, Apple Podcasts, Amazon. We're on Zitter, Need a Boat Cast, still on
Zitter.
Facebook for some reason, Need a Boat Podcast, Blue Sky, needaboat.bsky.social, which I should probably keep posting on there.
College
We have it.
football is you're streaming college football on twitch.tv/mediaboat.
Yes.
wanna
I
forget about that?
posted random discords. If you find me, go ahead and watch. uh Otherwise, yeah. We have an IMDb page if you want to like episodes,
true.
comment, subscribe to it.
I don't know.
Tell us what to do. Tell us what you want to think, what we should cover. Email us at mediaboatpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, do all of that.
And I think that's all of our plugs, and we're done. We're out.
Yeah, I
Under
think
an
we're out.
hour. Wow. All
Yeah,
right.
good for us. All
Time to go
right, well,
celebrate, I guess.
I guess so. I
Celebrate the
don't know.
summer.
Yeah, what we're gonna do. All right. Anyway, thank you. We'll be back next week for more. See you then.
All right. Bye.
Bye.